Aloha, family. I wanted to drop in and talk to you about the gene key that's transiting this week rather, which is gene key 53. And probably most of you watching this video are familiar with gene keys, but if not, I'll put the link for the gene keys website below, and you can go get your free hologenetic profile, which basically will tell you, it'll show you your soul's map. And there'll be a bunch of numbers, and there's a big fat book that you can also buy. And all of his courses are incredible, such incredible value for what he gives. And it's an amazing technology that will change your life if you give it the time and the contemplation that it truly deserves. So let's jump into it. A 53rd gene key is part of the ring of seeking. It's the shadow of immaturity. So we can look at humanity as a whole as very immature. And we only need to look at what we have done to our great Mother Earth to see the level of immaturity and childishness that we have perpetrated upon her. We have literally cut down so much of the lungs of this planet, of the rainforests, and decimated our jungles. These are the lungs and the pharmacy of the planet that's here for us, and we destroy it. So, on the bigger scale, we can see just how immature we are. Why would we cut down that which gives us life, that which gives us breath? Why would we drill the oil in such vast amounts, fracking and digging into the body of our mother for something that is unsustainable? Why would we attempt to modify our food through these processes that actually, where we think that we can do it better than the source of this planet, the source of all things, our creator consciousness that made us. So we only need to look around to see the level of immaturity of humanity's actions. And we could go on and on about that, right? And the level of the need to have power over, and the need to be part of a society and a culture that creates this life of, working 9 to 5, making enough money, having all the stuff, the things that we are sold to want that actually bring very little satisfaction, and for most people are just kind of living life day to day with very little joy. And so this all speaks to the shadow of immaturity and our inability to begin to reparent ourselves. And this is really what this key is about. Can we actually begin to mature? To see that the resources of the earth are for all, to see that we're all made of the same blood and bone. Like this key for me really speaks to humanity growing up. Like it's time to grow up. It's the traumatized inner children that are running the show for the majority of humanity. Which is why you see this rising movement now in shadow work. There is this intuitive drive that's happening for many of us of clearing out the past trauma so we don't continue to repeat the cycles of abuse that have perpetuated this planet for thousands of years. This key is the key in the ring of seeking. There's many of us that are seeking to expand, which is the gift of this key, to expand into an entirely new way to steward and caretake ourselves, one another, the earth, the animals, to reimagine and parent all these parts. So this key for me really speaks to this process. It's time for us to move from the state of immaturity and do our inner work and take responsibility, our ability to respond to our circumstances from within, from not projecting it outward. If you're blaming or complaining or you're a victim of, it's like you are literally might as well be handing your power over to everything outside of you. And this key is really about, let's take it back in. Let's take back our power to heal. Let's take back our wholeness. Let's take back our sacred relationship to the great womb of Gaia. And let's birth something new from that. So this is a profound key for that, to move from these levels of immaturity into the gift of expansion, to expand outward so that we can actually begin to have a conscious awareness of everything that we're doing. And instead of it being this immature tantrum of what I need to get from myself and how I need to control everybody else, how do I take dominion over my liberated being and then be in service to all consciousness? So this is the process right now. The dilemma of this key is restlessness. I forgot for a minute. It's restlessness. It's this inner drive, but at the shadow state, this restlessness becomes like this agitation. Like I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna like explode outwardly. It's almost like this restless paralysis of not knowing what to do because so much is going on in the outer world that we're literally in fight or flight. So the nervous systems of most people is in sympathetic mode. So it's fight, flight, or freeze. And so you can see this looking outward, right? This transiting through right now is giving us an opportunity to see into something bigger, to begin to claim our more expansive perspective of seeing, not just from this individual self, but seeing ourselves as a collective. Opening up and expanding to go deep enough inside to truly listen to that traumatized, wounded child and reparent them so that we can be more balanced in our maturity, so we can make different decisions, so we can begin to restructure the way that we have lived and actually reclaim our power back and begin to create an entirely new way of living. Because the old system is built on fear, it's built on immaturity, and it's collapsing because it can't sustain. We can't sustain what we have been doing. And so this key gives us the opportunity to really step into our adult selves, to reparent that little one within us, so that we can be in that carefree, in that innocence, in that joy again, and that it's safe. And that nobody is going to take anything away from us. And that we are in charge of our destiny, not society, not culture, and not government. So this is the expansion that starts to happen when we do the inner work, and as we do the inner work and as we begin to evolve and mature, it's like, let that process continue to unfold. There's a moment of this expansive process where you kind of attain a higher seeing. And then oftentimes there's like threads of that immaturity left. And so you see people who want to go out and they want to be a shaman for everyone. They want to be a medicine man or a woman. They want to teach everybody everything that they know, but they're not fully embodied in it yet. So let it continue to grow first. before you go out there espousing your truth about what you think that you know, because it's still a level of immaturity until we attain the higher vibrational frequencies. But the thing is when we attain them, there's an emanation that happens without a word. We don't have to teach or have courses or have people pay thousands of dollars so that we can tell them their truth. The best teachers turn you back to yourself. It's all an inside job. It's all inside you. And until you embody it, mental knowing is not wisdom. It's like we have all these words and all these lingo in our immaturity for awakening, for enlightenment, for forgiveness, for truth, for unity. But when it lands, when those energies land in your body, you realize that you never understood the definition of what they truly are when they awaken within you. It's a much different experience when those frequencies descend inside. So this is just a caution as you move forward on your journey from immaturity to expansion, to let it just continue to unfold in a way that you can hold humility. Maybe just pull back a little bit from wanting to tell your truth to everyone else. Just let it land. Let it land, let it stabilize, and let it sustain for a while. Because you'll find that as you move towards this city of superabundance, that what you thought you knew one day has completely kind of flipped on its side the next day. That this unfolding is creating a paradox, and how we hold paradox, how we balance these scales is really important to us really truly maturing into our more conscious state of being. So as we step into this expanded state, we begin to move much more in harmony with the cycles of the planet, with the cycles of the moon and the sun and the cycles of the seasons. And for women, we become very attuned to our menstrual cycles. There's a really palpable shift that happens as we begin to expand. It's like we expand and it's almost like time begins to stretch, and that it begins to almost, it expands and it contracts at the same time. So think of it, it's like we're going through a birth canal, and we're going to go through these really pressurized, constrictive places, because we're moving through, and it's almost like we're wringing out from our bodies, from our DNA, from our organs, all of these old conditioned programs. And as it's wrung out, it's going to feel a little uncomfortable, but it's just sensation. So just breathe through it and don't resist it. And then we'll go through these expanded states on the other side where it's like, oh my God, like I just broke through you have this massive breakthrough where you have all these epiphanies, and it's like you think, oh my God, like I've reached enlightenment. I know it all, right? And this can be still part of the immature mind wanting to attach onto a spiritual hierarchy, so to speak, right? So, but if you could just ride the waves of that and not think that watch the ego when it comes in that thinks that it knows. It's very tricky as you're moving through this process of expansion. And the process of expansion is so beautiful because you begin to feel your connectedness with all things. You can't, it pains you to watch what human beings have done to this planet. It pains you to see what's happening with the extinction of the animals. You feel and you sense what's not pure in every single system. You know it, you feel it, you sense it, and it's more your intuitive knowing is coming online. Your inner eyes are opening, your clairaudience is expanding. And so it's like, it's more real than anything that you've ever been taught. And you want to sing it from the rooftops, like, wake up. And we have to be just a little bit more, we just have to be a little bit more grounded. We're grounding this in right now. Grounded in, embodied in every single cell, rooting it to the earth. There can be this expansive need to like fly out of the top of your crown and just not be in your body when you start to see all of the distortions and the shadows that have existed on this planet for a long time. And so this is just a phase that you're moving through. And this key can be a guide, right? Because as we step into this super abundance, it's not what you think it is. It's like the super abundance comes from, in these cities, again, there's no earthly words that can really define them. But for me, super abundance is like I can put my arms up and I can feel what it is to be the clouds and the sun. I can feel the flower blooming. I can feel it inside of me. I can smell it. I can taste it. And I can feel how its intelligence is awakening inside of me. It's this, what's talked about is this is the divine inheritance, like feeling the activation of consciousness, this wealth, this unbelievable treasure that's inside the technologies of these motherships, these earthly temples, that this body is in fact a holy grail, and we can drink of all life, and we begin to create from that place that we are birthing, creating, and destroying worlds with every breath that we take. And it's an inside job. And this super abundance begins to awaken, and it's like, oof, it feels good. It's like, yes, let the games begin. I'm starting to understand how this reality is constructed. And in my heart opening, I am loving it all. And I just continue to expand and expand and expand into this abundant state where everything is me, and I am rich with my creatorship and my ability to see myself and everything surrounding me as my creations. It's so far above the materialistic things that the mind wants to manifest. Manifestation is not coming from here. This part of your body, your brain, is a magnificent servant, but it is a horrible master. This is your master. Your womb, or man, your hara, is your master. This and this connected and expanded open is superabundance. It is the ability to birth and then magnetize and then have a reality that's just malleable, that you can shape it, that you can see the fractals of light that make up the geometries that then begin to piece together to create an entirely new reality. And it happens from inside. And then we begin to birth it out. This is our super abundance. This is our creator consciousness. This is the golden child. This is the meek shall inherit the earth. That's the power of superabundance when we begin to mature into who and what we truly are. So I clearly love this key, and it's coming alive. It comes alive inside as I talk about it, and it speaks through me and it teaches me. And that doesn't mean that it's exactly true for you, which is why is the inquiry is so important, to find how the flavor of this energy of this key opens up in your DNA, what it brings forth for you, and then share, right? I'm not here to teach you. I'm here to share. I'm here to share how this key has opened up within me as an intricate piece of the puzzle, and how you open this key, and how that these keys of yours and mine and our unique templates, how it fits together, and how we create a bigger whole from joining and catalyzing one another as we explore these keys within our body that hold the codes of creation that we are remembering. It's profound. So I recommend anybody who has this key or is just really attracted and feeling this key, start to listen to where your inner child is. Feel it somatically in your body. Just close your eyes and tune in. And if you feel like you can't do it, just imagine it. You know, just start to get your imagination and your creativity back online. Feel where it is in your body and how that part of your body feels contracted or heavy or dense or like there's pressure there. And really feel into it, and as if you can see your little one, and maybe ask that little one what it has to say and just listen to whatever comes. And then you now, as the mature parent, what do you need to say to that child? Speak to it. You let that child be heard, and then you speak to that child what they need to hear, because you know that better than anybody. And you'll find that these fragments that you've closed off from for so long begin to reintegrate, and you begin to become more whole. And in becoming more whole, you become less reactive. You become more mature, and you become more expanded. And this is the roadway or the journey into your superabundance. It's all these little parts of you that have run the show for so long that just need to be heard. And if you have deep traumas like I did, maybe you need help. Somebody who does rebirthing, somebody who does medicine journeys, if that calls to you, somebody who does somatic work. Yeah, reach out. I can definitely recommend if that's something that you feel called to. If you want to dive into your gene keys, I do that. I do a quantum acupuncture technique where we go into the points on the body and open these portals so that we can support these parts. And that can be done either in person with an acupuncture session, or a quantum session is done over the phone. So if that calls to you too, reach out. But I'll put the link to Gene Keys under here and my link. And I hope that this has helped. And I feel very excited for the superabundance that's coming in line. It's a profound, profound time to be alive. And what we have access to right now is just, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing, and it's beautiful, and it's glorious, and it's majestic, and welcome. Welcome to remembering who you are as a creator being and opening up to that golden child within you. And yeah, let's rebirth this planet together into the most glorious Garden of Eden that our hearts know is possible. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you and love you so much. Aloha.